Hey everyone, I hope you guys had a great weekend. Today we're going to start with simplifying fractions, and then we're going to do some subtraction of fractions. So for reducing fractions, I just wanted to go over how to do that with a multiplication chart. So for number 1, we have to figure out what number goes into both 2 and 12. So excluding 1, 2 is the only number that can go into 2. And 12 also goes into 2. So 2 goes into 2 one time, and 2 goes into 12 6 times. So our answer is 1 over 6. For number 2, we have 3 and 6. So remember, in addition to 1, because 1 will go into every number, we're going to go down, and 3 is the only number that goes into 3, and 3 also goes into 6. So 3 goes into 3 one time, 3 goes into 6 two times. So our answer is going to be 1 over 2, or 1/2. Now for number 3, we have 30 and 90. So this one on your multiplication chart may look a little tricky. So we look for 30. 3 goes into 30. We're looking to see if there's a bigger number that'll go into 30. 5 goes into 30. 6 goes into 30. 10 goes into 30. So on our multiplication chart, 10 is the biggest number that goes into 30, and it also goes into 90. So when we go over here, 10 goes into 30 3 times, and 10 goes into 90 9 times. But that's also not simplified yet, because there's a number that goes into both 3 and 9. So if we go back to our multiplication chart, 3 goes into 3 one time, and 3 goes into 9 3 times. So here, it's actually going to be 1/3 when it's simplified in its entirety. And if we go back to our original fraction, 30 times 1 is 30, and 30 times 3 is 90. So 30 is the biggest number that goes into both of those. For number 4, we have 2 and 16. So 2 is the biggest number that goes into 2. And if we look over here, it also goes into 16. So 2 times 1 is 2, and 2 times 8 is 16. So our answer is going to be 1 over 8, because we're dividing it by 2. Number 5, we have 10 and 20. So 2 goes into 10 and 20. We're looking for bigger numbers to see if there's anything bigger. 5 goes into 10 and 20. And if we go here, here's 10 and here's also 20. So 10 is the biggest number that can go into 10 and 20. 10 times 1 is 10, and 10 times 2 is 20. So our answer is 1 over 2, or 1/2. For number 6, we have 21 and 27. So go to our multiplication chart. Well, 3 goes into 21, and 3 also goes into 27. Seven goes into 21, but it doesn't go into 27. So our biggest number that goes into 21 and 27 is 3. 3 times 7 is 21, and 3 times 9 is 27. So our answer is going to be 7 over 9. For number 7, we have 45 and 72. So we're going to look for 45. 5 goes into 45. 5 doesn't go into 72 though. 6 goes into 72, but not 45. 9 goes into 45 and 72. So 9 times 5 is 45, and 9 times 8 is 72. So our answer is going to be 5 over 8. Next we have 24 and 28. So 2 goes into 24 and it will go into 28, but we're going to look to see if we find a bigger number. 3 goes into 24, but not 28. 4 goes into 24 and 28. So 4 times 6 is 24, and 4 times 7 is 28. So our answer is going to be 6 over 7. Okay, now we have 2 over 4. So 2 is the biggest number that goes into 2. 2 goes into 2 one time, and 2 goes into 4 two times. So our answer is 1 over 2, or 1/2. Okay, number 10, we're looking for 45 and 90. So 45 is going to be our first number. 5 goes into 45. Let's see if there's a bigger number that goes into 45. 9 goes into 45, and 9 also goes into 90. 9 times 5 is 45, and 9 times 10 is 90. So if we do 5 over 10, that's still not in simplest terms. So if we go back to our multiplication chart, 5 goes into both 5 and 10. 5 times 1 is 5, 5 times 2 is 10. So 45 over 72, 45 over 90 can be simplified into 1/2. 45 times 1 is 45, and 45 times 2 is 90. Okay, number 11, we have 28 and 35. So 4 goes into 28, but not 35. 5 goes into 35, but not 28. 7 goes into 28 and 35. 7 times 4 is 28, and 7 times 5 is 35. So our answer is going to be 4 over 5. Okay, now we're going to look for 20 and 30. Because they both end in 0, we can put 10 into both of them. 10 times 3 is 30, and 10 times 2 is 20. So our answer is going to be 2 over 3. Okay. For number 13, we have 9 and 12. So 3 goes into 9 and 12. 9 goes into 9, but it doesn't go into 12. So 3 is going to be our biggest number. 3 times 3 is 9, and 3 times 4 is 12. So our answer is going to be 3 over 4. We already did 24 over 28. Okay, now we have 12 over 16. So we have to figure out what goes into both 12 and 16. So 2 goes into 12 and 16. 3 goes into 12 but not 16. 4 goes into 12 and 16. So if we use 4, we have 4 times 3 is 12, and 4 times 4 is 16. So our fraction would reduce to 3 over 4, or 3/4. Number 16, we have 35 and 49. So 5 goes into 35, but it doesn't go into 49. 7 goes into 35 and 49. So 7 over times 5 is 35, and 7 times 7 is 49. So our fraction would be 5 over 7. Okay, we have 8 and 10 for number 17. Two goes into 8, and 2 goes into 10. 4 goes into 8, but it doesn't go into 10. And 5 goes into 10, but it doesn't go into 8. So we're going to use 2. 2 times 4 is 8, and 2 times 5 is 10. So our fraction is going to be 4 over 5, or 4/5. Number 18, we have 27 and 54. So 3 goes into 27. 9 goes into 27, and 9 also goes into 54. So 9 times 3 is 27, and 9 times 6 is 54. So 3 over 6. But that's not in simplest terms, because 3 goes into both 3 and 6. 3 goes into 3 one time, and 3 goes into 6 two times, because 27 is half of 54. Number 19 is the same way. We have 15 and 30. So we're going to look to see what goes into 15. 5 goes into 15, and it goes into 30. 5 goes into 15 3 times, and 5 goes into 30 6 times. So if we do 3 over 6, we still have to simplify that to 1/2, because 15 times 2 is 30. Okay, now we have 63 and 72. So we're going to look to see what goes into 63. 7 goes into 63, but it doesn't go into 72. 9 goes into 63 and 72. 9 goes into 63 7 times, and 9 goes into 72 8 times. So we can simplify this to 7 over 8. Okay, for 21 we have 10 and 90. Again, they both end in a 0, so if we take those zeros off, we're left with 1 over 9. So we're going to simplify that to 1 over 9. '22, we have 5 and 10. So we're going to look for a number that goes into 5. 5 is the biggest number that goes into 5, and it also goes into 10. 5 times 1 is 5, and 5 times 2 is 10. So 5 over 10 simplifies to 1/2. 4 and 24. The biggest number that's going to go into 4 is 4, because 4 times 1 is 4. And then if we go over, we see 24 is 4 times 6 is 24. So 4 over 24 would simplify to 1 over 6. Number 24, they both end in 0, so we can just take those zeros off, and we would be left with 4 over 5. For number 25, we have 30 and 45. So 3 goes into 30. 5 goes into 30, and it goes into 45. So let's use 5. So if we do 30, it goes into 36 times. And 45, it'll go in 9 times, so 6 over 9. But that's not in simplest terms because 3 goes into both 6 and 9. 3 goes into 6 2 times, and 3 goes into 9 3 times. So it's 2/3 because 15 is actually the greatest common factor for these two numbers. 15 times 2 is 30, and 15 times 3 is 45. For number 26, we have 12 and 18. So 3 goes into 12 and 18. 4 goes into 12 but not 18. 6 goes into 12 and 18. And 6 is the biggest number we can get into 12. So 6 times 2 is 12, and 6 times 3 is 18. So 12 over 18 is going to simplify into 2 over 3. Okay, now we have 6 and 15. So 3 goes into 6 and 15. And the next number that'll go into 6 is 6, but it doesn't go into 15. So 3 is the biggest number that they're going to have in common. So 3 goes into 6 2 times, and 3 goes into 15 5 times. So our fraction is going to be 2 over 5. Number 28, we have 8 and 32. So we can start with 8, because we know that that'll be 1. And we'll see 8 goes into 32, because 8 times 4 is 32. So we can simplify that to 1 over 4. 29, we have 3 and 9. Because 3 times 1 is 3, we're going to look at the 3 times table first. 3 times 1 is 3, and 3 times 3 is 9. So 3 over 9 can simplify to 1 over 3. 30, we have 5 and 20. So the smallest number that goes into 5 is 5, and then 20 would be 5 times 4. So our answer is going to be 1 over 4. 1 times 5 is 5. 5 times 4 is 20. Okay. So now that we're done simplifying fractions, we're going to do a few problems. I only have 5 of them for subtracting fractions. So remember, when we're subtracting fractions, they have to have the same denominator, which is the bottom number. And we just subtract the top number. So our answer is going to be over 12. Okay. So over 12, so we have 8 minus 1. So if we start with 8 and we subtract 1, we'll have 7. So our answer is going to be 7 over 12. This one, it's going to be over 9. So our answer is going to be over 9. As you can see, our answer is going to have 9 parts. So we have 9, and we take away 1. 9 minus 1 is 8. So our answer is going to be 8 over 9. For number 3, our answer is going to be over 10, because there's 10 parts to our whole. We started out with 7, and we take away 4, so 7 minus 4 is 3. So our answer is going to be 3 over 10. For number 4, it's also going to be over 10. So we start off with 9, and we're going to take away 6. So 9 minus 6 leaves us with 3. So our answer is again 3 over 10. And then for our last one, there's 12 parts to the whole. So if we have 2 of those parts and we take away 1, that leaves us with 1. So our answer is going to be 1 over 12. So that is everything that I have planned for you today. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. If not, I hope you have a great rest of your week, and I will see you guys all next week.